Honorable MLA comes from the constituency which has seen one of the most flourishing ports of India right from early medieval times. And his constituency includes Gopakapattana port, which he mentioned just now. There's a lot can be developed from a heritage tourism point of view. It can be developed as a museum of Kadamba, the Kadamba dynasty which ruled over there. And the port wall which exists over there can also be a great tourist destination from heritage point of view. So I expect from him to do something, not in crores but at least in lakhs.
So, Chairman Vishnu Vag, how many lakhs can you promise the professor?
One thing I can definitely promise is that Bharat Sabnis and his friends have presented a dossier to me, and that is regarding the refurbishing of the Department of Archaeology. You know, right now the department is a very small department with inadequate manpower. So I am submitting a proposal to the government to revamp the entire Department of Archaeology and Archives so that more attention is paid to our heritage centers. As has been mentioned, we have so many forts, but most of the forts are in dilapidated condition. They are not looked after well. Some of the forts are lost, like Fort of Kolwale now, it's almost on the verge of extinction. All this needs to be restored, and of course, it would not need only crores, but I think billions. A lot of money, but we'll have to make provision for it.
Mr. Satan Samir, when can we have the first Israeli musical concert in the Kala Academy in Goa? Who is on the list in Bombay now?
Open your calendars. No, what I think we should do first, I hosted or I organized before coming to Mumbai last year something that we call International Music, International Theatre, International Cinema Showcase in Israel, presenting the top artists in different fields of culture. So I would like to present an invitation to the chairman of the Kal Academy to come visit Israel. I don't know, will it be your first visit?
We can have the same festival on behalf of Entertainment Society of Goa also, which organizes the International Film Festival. So we have all the facilities, we can have a festival of Israeli cinema.
I think what I'm saying basically is because I don't want to send a musician from Israel. I want to send let's say the right artist, or I want to create the perfect match, and I'm not very much not an artistic person. So I need the people who know their way around art in Goa, and the people that know their way around art and culture in Israel to meet, either by bringing distinguished guests from Goa to Israel, or by bringing people from Israel to Goa. And this is where we should start. And we were talking about the Philharmonic. So we saw Zubin Mehta before, Dr. Val. We have 9 musicians from the Israeli Philharmonic, emeritus, retired, so they have a lot of time. And they come to Mumbai for our Independence Day, a national day in May. And they will conduct a concert in Mumbai, and then they will perform also in our Independence Day. So this is a good place to start with.
We can have a show here. It's our open invitation. Yes.
So that's okay. Yeah, and another thing that I want to say is that the easiest way to start with is cinema, because when we talk about cinema, as you said rightfully, we don't need a lot of resources. This is something that an Israeli film festival, for example, this is a very Indian film festival in Israel. Everything I think should be doing, as I said, to get the information in both places can be a good place to start with. So I don't have a date, but we have a lot of channels, and we just have to work to start from.
Thank you. I know we could have continued up to tea time today at 4 o'clock because there are so many interesting topics. But we have to conclude within 3-4 minutes and have a vote of thanks. But I want Dr. Shalva Vail to conclude this debate. And what do you want to tell to the chairman of the Kal Academy?
In the early days of diplomatic relations with India, when they were established in 1992, there wasn't a sophisticated mechanism of cultural exchanges, and we did it on a person-to-person basis. So actually I was the first person on a voluntary basis to introduce the Festival of Indian Films in Israel at the Cinematheque. I did this totally on a personal basis, and of course we had all Raj Kapoor's films in Israel, and Bani Rubin, his manager, was a Ben Israel, a Jew from Bombay who was a friend of mine at the time. Then we brought over Indian artists, and we brought over Indian musicians, and I myself was invited when Zubin Mehta conducted the Israel Philharmonic Orchestra for the first time in Bombay Stadium in 1995. I was the guest of honor in Bombay. Since those days, things have developed. Israel and India have got vast cultural, defense, high-tech, academic exchanges. Vast. And so they have huge networks. They have big embassies, consuls. I was just a small individual person. It's no difficulty today to establish cultural exchanges between Goa and Israel. Everything is there. Everything is in place. As I mentioned, it just needs motivation and interest on both sides. What we don't have is we are losing the cultural heritage day by day. It's disappearing. The sites are going into liquidation. The people are forgetting that they were from converso families. And I want to point out that Goa, which was the cradle of civilization, it wasn't divided into Christians and Jews. We were all people. India was the most tolerant of societies. It was a place where Jews and Christians of all denominations, and Hindus and other religions, Zoroastrians, everybody lived in harmony. The only violation of that period was during the Portuguese conquest, and on this we will talk in our conference. So, if I turn to the chairman of the Kala Academy, I would like to encourage you to utilize the mechanisms that exist, but not to forget to preserve the wonderful heritage that used to be. Now, the last time I was in Goa, I have now remembered, was when General Jacob was governor of Goa. He invited me as a personal friend to Goa. He was a Jew from Delhi. He was in charge of the Bangladesh War. He's a hero in India, but he happened to be of Jewish origin. This is a remarkable feat for Goa, to have a Jewish governor of Goa. Have we all forgotten this? Does this not exist anymore? And in addition, even the Congress Party invited me in those days. When Zubin Mehta played with the Philharmonic in 1995 in the Bombay Stadium, this was under a Congress Party. So it's not a question of parties, it's not a question of religions, it's a question of India being in harmony with all its religious minorities, all of them. And together, if we have motivation, we have interest, we can preserve this wonderful heritage that used to exist in Goa, and I'm afraid is slipping between our fingers. Thank you.
So, give a big hand to Dr. Sharvaved. On behalf of the Kala Academy, on behalf of Norway India Chamber of Commerce and Industry and Goa Chamber of Commerce and Industry, we conclude this roundtable debate and we go to the mementos and vote of thanks.
Sir, may I request you to kindly present